Hey guys, recently I had made a video about removing Confederate monuments and had talked a little bit about the Civil War, but something had found a few months ago, and I found it again tonight randomly, and I thought I would make a video and talk about it, and that's the Rebel Yell. The Rebel Yell was this mystical, cool thing that people talked about all through history, and for many, many years no one knew what it sounded like. There just didn't know of any recordings, and people tried to recreate it, and no one really knew. It was always said it was a cross between a fox hunt yip and a banshee squall, maybe some Native American roots to it. But about 8-10 years ago, this Museum of History started researching, and they found 2 recordings of the Rebel Yell. And this here, I'm going to show you something that talks about it. It was actually the first battle of the Civil War when Jackson was on Henry House Hill, and the Union Army was pushing them back, and Jackson told his soldiers to yell like furies and charge down the hill. That actually that's where the Rebel Yell started, and after that it was used in almost every battle. But here, let's watch this, and then we can talk about it some more.
150 years since the conclusion of the American Civil War, the conflict has captured the imagination of millions. Today, one could admire the artwork of Mort Kunstler or Don Troiani and imagine what the epic battles of the conflict might have looked like. We can listen to brass bands recreating the music of the era, or even attend reenactments where we might, if only for a moment, capture the feeling of being there. But one of the things Hollywood and its movies, or Kunstler and his artwork, could never possibly recreate are the sounds of battle. What must it have sounded like when Stonewall Jackson's Virginians charged down Henry House Hill after old Jack commanded them to yell like furies? This, the moment of the birth of what would eventually evolve into the Rebel Yell. What must it have sounded like? This bone-chilling, mortifying, hair-raising sound is the stuff of legend. How could we today, curious of the past, know what it sounded like? To the Civil War enthusiast, such a concept might seem impossible. But with an idea and a little bit of ingenuity and technology, the History Publishing Company in Palisades, New York, has made it possible to recreate the sound of the Confederate battle cry. At a 1935 meeting of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, 90-year-old Thomas Alexander, a veteran of the 37th North Carolina Regiment, was asked to deliver his rendition of the rebel battle cry to a local radio station. Thanks to that recording, History Publishing Company was later able to have the recording amplified and patterned to match the sound of a Confederate company charging across the battlefield.
I think it's pretty cool. It sounds awesome. I think it's so cool that they've actually been able to recreate it accurately. The gentleman that it showed here on the video, Mr. Alexander, was from the 37th North Carolina, but they were concerned that this is only one soldier giving one version of the Rebel Yell, and later were able, through the Daughters of the Confederacy, were able to find another recording by Mr. Simmons, living in California at the time, but originally from a Virginia Cavalry Brigade and delivered the exact same version, so they feel fairly confident this is accurate. And I think that one Union soldier said, anyone who tells you he heard the rebel yell and wasn't scared is a liar and never heard it. There's many accounts written of Union soldiers talking about this horrific rebel yell that's chilled them to their bone and made them fear for their lives. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked this. Thought it was kind of cool. Peace.